Please tell me I don't have to remake this. Good. Every time my computer restarts and updates drivers or whatever else, it decides to completely throw everything out the window. So this is how a giveaway is going to work today. A little bit different. Rather than doing them both at once, I'm going to randomly have the chat saved for those of you guys that like to watch from start to finish. And we'll throw in some marbles at some point. Twice. As I was saying, we've already achieved our daily high. We've already achieved our sessions high, which would be taking London's high. We did that quite early in the morning, obviously. And it would be easy to suggest that we're well overextended. But we're at all-time highs. So we can use geometry to find highs. We can find highs using extensions. We can find highs, whatever. Those of you guys that have been paying attention, Dennis called 23,900 last week. And, well, we've since blasted through that. Right? But phenomenal upside target. Which at the time might have seemed a little crazy. You know, being here. Or rather, down here. So kind of watching and waiting to see if we get our flips. Do we get flips? This is concerning. We're trying to determine what that 50 minutes is going to do. I'm not going to position myself for trying to catch the top of this move. I think that's folly. I think that you get these 5-minute candles. These movements you would expect to be a retracement. So that low at 47. Ideally it runs the high at 67. I'm not looking at a 5-point move. I see we're getting some excitement in the chat. Good morning. Strong sustained selling pressure. This 5-minute, not credible so far. Now this is the first 15 minutes of the day, so you can leave a high that's not credible in the 5-minute and the 15 if it trades through and then ends up going. Will not retest this. Right? This is unclear, so I'm sitting on my hands currently. We'll be giving away some accounts today. 2 of them. Trump going to make a speak? Probably. Probably. What does CSD stand for? How is it different from structural flip? What's the order of importance? Structure has to do with valid pullbacks and highs, right? Flip has to do with order flow and delivery. So you could have valid high, valid low, becomes a protected low. And here you could have a flip that doesn't break structure. Its purpose is to change order flow from bullish to bearish and facilitate a pullback without breaking structure to continue higher. To the moon? Could be to the moon. Morning, Lane. You're coming out to Kelowna? No, you're not, are you? Or like BC? Right? So there goes our 5-minute high. Cool. Morning, Price Fiction. Now this very well could have just ran out everything and then we start to sell off. 9:39. Our first 15-minute candle is still forming. If this closes underneath there, you have your first flip. This is a protected low. So this flip would have to break structure. If. Not yet. I like it a lot. But it wasn't good enough for me so far. It's got to break. I think this is starting to look weak. But I also don't want to anticipate that this is going to flip and then just trading back into this area, which we would expect to put in a new high. And you could argue that it did. Morning, Demetrius. Oh. That was a lot stronger of a shove than I thought it would be. I could probably should have waited for something in here. This is not as clean as I would like. So we're going to find out just how strong this is. We want this to displace through here. Ideally closing underneath this, and I think we're away at least to this low and further. Now here's your 5-minute low as well. So 1 minute flip, 5-minute low at minimum. There it goes. We don't want sweep and fail. We want gone. We want gone. Let's go. You're now in the midpoint of this. I don't want anything underneath here. I want this to be displacement and through. Back into the hourly area of interest. Okay. 17 seconds. That's a strong rejection so far. We'll see. 7 seconds. Oh! Was that just a pullback? A very strong shove if it wasn't. We're going to find out very, very quickly on this candle if they're going to sell the shit out of it or not. I think my stock goes about 47 now. I want it to leave. No, probably could have taken 10 to 15 there. Don't like how the 5's reacting. That doesn't necessarily mean that bulls are out of the woods and I could just be getting in too soon. And sure enough, as soon as that blips up, some sell pressure comes in. This is very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. It's not A+ by any means. And the reason is because we've got kind of mixed reviews. I think that this will probably still end up going lower. I just did not like how strong that reaction was inside of this structural area. And we failed to sweep underneath our 5. So first 15 minutes of the day, right? There's your 15-minute candle. Not exactly strong, not exactly weak. Right? Perfectly viable to pass on this. I think that strong candle inside of here wasn't really something I was interested in entertaining, and sure enough, now it runs to target. So we'll see what goes on. Right? That was nasty. So we'll wait. 15-minute low, which we have marked out. Also a protected low. Also a protected low. So like to follow through a lot. Probably should have taken my first trade scalp, and then even though I wouldn't have gotten triggered in or anything here, I don't think I would have re-entered for a... well, I didn't re-enter. Right, that took me out, and then even though that closed there, I wasn't interested. This is OPEX week. This is OPEX week. If we get a CSD or valid high-low or structural flip, which one is stronger? So you're talking about sort of order of operations a little bit. You can't get a structural flip without having a valid high or valid low. Right? You've got to create a valid high or valid low for it to break structure. By definition, otherwise you don't have any structure. Right? So you also need to have a valid high or valid low in order to have a CSD for how I use it. Right? And that's not different to be different. I want to see some form of displacement underneath the low to tell me that we're creating a trend, not something like this. Right? Because this closed underneath, I was able to entertain this failure potentially. Right? So you get strong move, closure above, signaling displacement, trades back in, leaves. This isn't a break-in structure until we break the protected high, or weak high in this case. This is also, this flip has to achieve something, which is breaking the protected low, wherever that ends up being. Let's suggest that's here. But it's not, right? I think, well, actually, no, that would be, because I would consider this to be a wick. That's just liquidity sweep, but your actual swing is this. So I think it would be there. Right? So this flip has got to break structure. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, and then you're talking fractal nature of price. The power of what we've been studying with CSD is that it's got to achieve things on the time frame above it. Now this to me was not what I wanted. Now in the first 15 minutes, we're really trying to follow what these are doing. So sweeping that 15-minute candle, we're trading up. We've got to be able to make a valid low at least. Otherwise, we just continue lower. Now, I do think we trade up into this at minimum. And if our 15 continues and we actually get a flip, which would be closing actually above here, then we'll see what goes on. I wouldn't want to fail this candle. Lots. Lots. CSD is change in state of delivery. It's a smart money concepts term. We used to use change in order flow, which was like this movement that would go to here, to here, to here, and then breaks, trades back in, leaves. But this is far more accurate. Oh! We want to see the reaction from here now. Right? So there's your 15 failing. Not unhappy that I took this short off. I think that I could have made my 20 points. But we're trying to determine what this 5 minutes is going to do. Here. This is 950. Still sitting on my hands. You could argue that longs from here should be a valid idea, and I think they are. As we haven't broken structure yet. Oh! My goodness. Yeah, this isn't ideal. I think that this long would have been a valid move. This is not how you'd want to see like a bearish capitulation at all. I think I will take a stab up in here, at least for a little bit higher, as it's signaling that it doesn't really want to go lower just yet. 953. 5 minute needs to close above this. 15 minute showing some strength as well. Want to at least see what happens with this high at 61. But again, watching this 5 and this move has got to fail. Man, there's a lot of sell pressure. That's a really good candle close. The response is going to be very interesting. 45 seconds left in this 5, looking very strong so far. Would love to be positioned higher than what we are, but price telling us higher at least in the interim, so I want to be long. Having a lot of troubles in here. Starting to accelerate to the downside. Don't like that. Okay. Small stop. It very well could bounce from here and continue onwards. But the 5 I liked. I don't like the reaction from it. Doesn't make much sense to me, so taking the L and moving on. We'll let this shake out a little bit. And the resulting sell-off. No real structural reasons. We've got no inversions, nothing. This is a strong 5-minute closure. Like that a lot. Just perhaps overextended. And away we go. 9:55. There goes your 9 a.m. low, which was weak. We'll wait for something to set up. If the 15 still cannot close underneath and create a valid high, then I think we retest back up here in the 40s. I think at minimum we should be looking to retest back up to here. There's a lot of people that were long in this, in the low 40s, that are still in positions. But this is very strong. So what do we got here? Midpoint of the current swing. We're looking at that right now. We're actually quite underneath it. This is a structural area of interest on the 15-minute. Oops. And again, 2 minutes left, but we've got to be able to achieve something on the 15-minute time frame, which is this 15-minute candle here. Not this one. This one just swept. So we need to close below that by 10 a.m. Strong push, trading back down. Still looking to see if we can trade up at least to 35. But demands a bit of respect here. We'll look to see if we defend this 9 a.m. hourly low or not. Very, very strong shove down. $20 seconds for a new 15-minute candle. Important. As it looks like we're going to close underneath here and create a valid high. On both. Very strong. Here we are. Respecting the imbalance, you want a closure underneath here, and then ideally you tack this low and you get some displacement through it. There it goes. Now in the midpoint of this zone, 24,000, which is a key level for a lot of people that will put their profit targets there. Like the order flow from the midpoint. Not getting the follow through so far that I want. Looks like it might take me out. Definitely will now. I think it has to take that 15-minute protected low. I like the order flow and I like the dome. I liked a lot of this. Just kind of like a read on price that we needed to rally a little bit, but this looks weak. I think underneath 24,000, I'm just going to hit this. Oh, there we go. Liked a lot of what was going on here at the midpoint. I think a lot of people are scaling in, and I might be out too soon instead of holding to my stop. Who knows? But I think these rallies would have been a little bit more violent if they was going to trade up to the 20s. So more of a price feel, but wasn't happy with how it kept going. Instead of a 15-minute zone, I think we'll trade up to here at some point, whether or not we might need to have some sort of accumulation and then something like this, which would then trade up. $10.03, 5's looking obviously weak. 15 clearly, we've flipped on the 15 as well. So this is a key imbalance, this 15-minute one. And the main reason is because it actually displaced through your S&DR on the 15. So this will be a very interesting area to watch. Now you would look at this and go, well, isn't that sort of accumulation then manipulation? Maybe, but you have a new 5-minute opening in 20 seconds. Had this taken a 5-minute low, you have a different concept. So we'll see. Ideally, we want displacement underneath this 15-minute, which I suppose is actually here at 84. Until then, this is our first attempt at reversing, but in reality, that's sort of sideways. This is a valid pullback. Not yet, no. So 15-minute structure, this 15-minute flip has got to break structure, which is this pullback here. This is a sweep of it. You could argue that this is the protected low. That's fine as well, right? So just very, very early on my long idea, wasn't willing to hold through this drawdown. Even then, I'd still be break even. Or like 5 points, who cares? This is now a 5-minute sweep, trading back up. We'll look at that 15-minute imbalance, which is this high here. Which is also equivalent to your 10 a.m. high at 18.5. This is also structural zone, so you would not expect this to break. I want a little bit higher because I think the midpoint aligns with the 10 a.m. high. So I'm looking for any sort of shorts inside of here to deliver us lower. Yes, there's an imbalance here, but I think given the context, I'd be looking for that hourly high and the sweep of this 5, given how we've flipped on the 1. So good, some sell pressure, awesome. Ideally this forms inducement, also mitigating this area. We then trade up, right? So you got this. We then trade up, taking out the early shorts, and then we can continue on. You'll note that we have to break the 5-minute in order for this 15-minute to flip. Important that this closed at 24.10 and that high was 24.10, so this is not a valid pullback. We'd actually have to close underneath this low. Strong, sure. But I think if we're going to trade up to here, this becomes important. And all of a sudden, give me back my shorts that I had in here. No, I think price action is the same. All-time highs are not. And I do think that we trade up to 18s. Not because of this, but because I think that Oh my God. Come on, lads. New 5-minute candle. Still think we go. Ideally, we don't double bottom or take any of this liquidity first. We leave that. This is kicking and screaming, and it might take me out and then run up there, which would be frustrating, but that is what it is. We'll still look for shorts up there. Man. Don't think I missed anything. I think this is just running out liquidity before it runs up. It might have to sweep underneath this 5 again, which would be annoying. There goes the 15-minute low as well. I did think it was high probability of trading up to here. I probably should have avoided the long just to try and get that 20 points, but I think people were positioned for it as well. It just decided, nope, at least not yet. And the hourly's throwing its weight around. We also were failing this hourly low too, which I liked. Probably ends up being be dumb, follow price, right? So waiting for shorts rather than trying to take the longs and then ride it short. But I think that was fair. 1-minute flip, trading into an area of interest. We didn't really trade into anywhere on the 5. We just got run over by the higher time frame. What are my settings for this? $5, 15-minute, and hourly, and just the amount of candles. Morning, Tim. You got London lows lower. We'll see what we end up getting here. Very, very strong price action driven by the higher time frame. Ideally, we're looking for this 15-minute to break structure, but this was just concerning. I do think we take this hourly high at some point. But we're trying to determine what these intermediate time frames are doing, which we got 2 minutes left for. Does my strat change over to all-time high? I don't know if I answered that already or not. No, it doesn't. I think that all-time highs is a little bit tricky because we don't know if we've hit a higher time frame point of interest or not. You can use projections for a potential idea. But essentially, we're looking at how the time frames are flowing together. So to me, high probability, you get a 1-minute flip. We're going to trade to a 5-minute area of interest. We're looking for confluence of areas of interest, so 15-minute, hourly, and 5-minute highs. Ideally, this flip would have occurred and not traded into this zone. That's one of the rules that we have. I decided to opt for it anyways, as I thought there was a high chance of us trading up to 18. And here we are. 20 seconds left to see if we can break this 15-minute low, protected low. So far, no bueno. Again, trading into a structural zone. So we did get kind of a flip. I would have rather this took liquidity. We'll be giving away some ETF accounts. Right, so far failing underneath, cool. 15-minute failed so far, cool. If this trade back down here fails, then I think we continue higher, at least for this high. I still like the hourly high being a target, but buyers beware for sure. I do like the long side as we're getting a little lethargic here. And I do think we want to trade back up at least. We've got this and this. The problem with this is it's trading into a structural zone. I don't like how the 15-minute failed the protected low. I think that all this sell pressure's got to achieve something on the 15-minute time frame. Otherwise, it's not good for bears, that is, despite how strong that it is. More strength, good. New 15-minute opening, driving higher. Again, looking at that imbalance. Not positioned for it just yet. Looking to see what happens at the midpoint of this. Do we respect it or not? You've got this. That's your structural zone. This is your current swing, which we're having a bit of a reaction to and then failing on the way so far. This will be an important candle. If we sweep and fail underneath here, then fine. Otherwise, I think we continue lower. Here it comes. We find out just how strong this bearish push is from this zone. Also aligning with the midpoint of the 15-minute. A lot of people were buying and selling here. We still got this so far. A lot of time left. We may very well be looking at a 1030 reversal. Key point of interest. Like, loving the reaction of this so far. We'll see what we get. Do I still want it? Do I still want it? I don't think I want it if it comes back down to 93s now. I think that if it's going to run, it's going to run without me now. That sweep underneath. Probably going to take this high at 6s at minimum. And then we're looking at, this is actually a protected high. So if we end up creating an SNDR here, that'll be an important structural area if we break and then lift. As it stands right now, you would expect this area to hold. The problem with the 1 minute short is that we're failing the 15-minute protected low. So not exactly as clean as I'd like. And this is just gross how it's reacting here. Right? This area now moves up to this. So this will be important. No valid pullbacks in this movement. If you created a valid high internally and then created a valid low, now we're expecting something like this. Breaks, trades back into that area, and then leaves to go higher. Or at minimum a range. Failed 5 minute 2. Yeah, absolutely. Right? So 15-minute CSD flip, but haven't broken structure. Haven't broken structure, and we're sweeping underneath this hourly low even still. Not terribly thrilled about the delivery. We might have to wait for something at 10:30 for a new 15 and 5 and everything else, but looking nasty. Right, just a ton of sell pressure. Yeah, you guys looking at this? Continuing to fail underneath this, we want to see that continue. Very, very unclear, even if it does close underneath this wick. I think that I'm going to, I only have 10 points on this. I think I'm going to adjust it. I want to be positioned in here. I want to see if it holds this 15-minute low or not. And we'll manually exit if we get just an unload, which looks like we are. Okay, if this candle lifts through, then my stop goes underneath 75. Obviously, I don't want this breaking the 15-minute low, but a little bit wider of a stop than intended, but looking to trade this based off the higher time frame. And yeah, I'm just gonna eyeball this out. Okay, not what I wanted at all. Not a sweep, nothing like that. Just continuing on. And we'll do the giveaway very, very soon. This has not been an ideal day at all. So we'll see. Right, systematically, like the flip, didn't like it inside of this area of interest. Wasn't expecting this sort of unwind with the 15-minute low. Still like this hourly high, just not getting any sort of reaction whatsoever as we just continue to dump. Nothing I would have really liked in terms of short in here, honestly. I like the double top, but nothing that would have triggered me in. Like the longs, like how we were respecting longs, just got muscled through with OPEX price action. What time's the giveaway? The giveaway is going to be probably about 25 minutes. 15, 20 minutes, let's say. Violent moves and 1 minute structure, failing 15-minute. At worst, I probably should have been sitting on my hands rather than trying to really stick to this idea that we were going to rally up to here. And I think that's what, in reality, I think that's structurally what we would expect, to reload in these areas and then go. All-time highs might have something to do with that, who knows? But I think you've got London and Asia lows now for sure. You enter the giveaway just by typing in chat. No excuses whatsoever. Did not execute, or at least my system didn't work out today on the mean reversion, and that's okay. That is what it is. We'll wait and see. Sometimes it's better to be dumb and just follow price. Structural zone, short, get paid. Structural zone, short, we're at short anything with a decent stop, get paid. And in fact, I did short here in the morning, and perhaps should have just stuck to my guns there. Maybe, depending on what this 15-minute does. If it closes inside the 80s, and we do have 2 minutes before it can do that, it's only 15 points away, then it's going to be really, really uncomfortable for shorts. Right? We're inside of Asia now. Two minutes left. Strong displacement through. No imbalance here. Failing to make a valid high, at least so far. But we'll see what goes on. Blasting through. Blasting through. Yep. And I think that this movement should have taken a 5-minute point of interest. So looking back on this now from an analysis perspective, I should have not trusted the 1 and the 5-minute order flow, and I should have just said that this is something of either like an hourly or a daily or something higher, because we expected this to at least, right? So high, low, flip, trades back in. Sure, we traded up to here, but this should trade to a 5-minute point of interest. And instead, we got this, which means that I need to use that information to also put with what's going on here, and instead, here we are. 10:30, new 5, new 15, new everything. Here's your 15-minute right now. You would expect the low to go. There's your 5. You would expect the low to go. This could be accumulation and then manipulation. Who knows? I do think we got a little bit lower because of the displacement that's going on, but we shall see. Midpoint of this current swing. So inside of this area. Yeah, and I think that's fair. We'll see what happens with the bearish push here if we're going to manipulate and trade higher versus if we're actually going to take these London and Asia lows. This is not a structural zone, but it is buying pressure, potentially wiping out retail. And then if this movement trades up into here, then you have to monitor how this trades back. If you get like a flip that then kind of pulls back and you get some sort of a flip that occurs here, then I think we rally. Otherwise, here we are. All right. Violent, violent, violent. There's your 5 and your 15. So we are in danger zone if it wants to reverse, at least up into here in the 80s. I'm going to find out pretty quick. Wild. Maybe not done yet. This will be important here. Credible highs usually have their liquidity swept. As in, you get retracements, you get a lower time frame pullback. We expect, like, this should have swept, it didn't. So you get this lower time frame movement. Some people look at it as a flag pattern. And then what you're trying to determine is if this is a lower time frame movement to continue with your higher time frame direction. New 5, both closing bearish. Yeah, the hourly and the higher time frames are shoving their weight around, which was the main reason that that I'm red today. I think I didn't give enough respect to this direction. I should have traded with the trend, obviously, but more than that, this wasn't the price action where I should be looking at the 1 minute and trying to determine sweeps and failure and everything else. This could be your final sweep again. We'll see. I think this will be my final stab at this if it wants to come through. Getting some major acceleration on the dome, which I like a lot. Means there's a lot of buying taking place. We'll see if it can lift or do anything. She's got a lift. I'm not looking at 10 points. I'm looking at a little bit more than that. This should be a higher time frame shove. I'll be break even if it comes back down. We got to have sustained bullish pressure though. And we're looking at the 5 and the 15 minute if they're sweeping and failing. Not the ideal bullish candle, but did close bullish. Want to lift through these 65s. There they go. Lots of sell pressure. Lots of sell pressure. We'll see if it can achieve anything. We are looking up into the 80s at minimum for this movement. Holding on to my ass. We'll see. Got to push through 65. That's our flip. Having a real hard time of it so far. No. I think it might still do it, but man. Oh, did that come back down? It wouldn't have taken me out break even, but nasty failure and then coming back in. I think it probably lifts now. We'll see. Yeah, Matt, nice. Right, so this makes sense. We did touch the 5 minute high. You'll notice we haven't flipped really on the 1 minute time frame. You could argue this. We're trying to mainly determine if this is ready to actually retrace for the first time today. And for me, I'm looking at this high, then that one, and then this has got a break. None of this is structural. Our structural area is here, which we haven't tapped into yet. Just not liking how much sell pressure there is. I like how we stab down into here. If we fail this candle, then we're still looking at it, but man. Not exactly how I wanted this to reverse so far. We'll see. A lot of buying. A lot of buying. I still like the idea of trading higher. And I think that this liquidity, at least like above these, is key. And then trading into at least into the 70s. Just not getting anything except for higher time frame sell pressure. Yeah, I think if this fails here, that and it looks like I like a lot about the idea or the attempt to rally, but we failed here so far. So you're looking at your last structural candle, which would be this one. We haven't closed below it yet. I think if we do, then we're looking for something major happening. But we're going to do some giveaways here, I think, and take the red day perhaps. Right, getting 15-minute sweeps, 5-minute sweeps, all of it, and just having no relief at all. This is not my ideal price action, where we're getting attempts to rally that are just being blasted. This is pretty much sell any reason and you're getting paid. If you've done well today, you very likely just sold at your area of interest, and it's worked out. Not overthinking it or anything like that. Just, okay, retracement, let's go. Retracement, short. Kicking and screaming. I think everybody's looking for Asia and London lows right now as well, which is a major thing. Right? I liked how we flipped sort of personality, and the movement up was very, very, very violent. I'm talking on the order book, not necessarily your candles, right? The candles look gross, which is why I bailed out of that position for peanuts. Right? We very well could be building an SNDR to take these higher time frame points of interest and then reverse. Right? You've got no valid low, which means no valid high. We've just been taking liquidity on both sides. Very well could, yeah. All right, she broke that high. The initial idea was to trade into this at minimum, with the potential of even trading back up to this 15-minute point of interest. Now, I think we would need a 5-minute flip, which we haven't got. Our flip area is all the way up here on the 5-minute. This will be a 5-point stop, looking for failure and gone. If we displace underneath this candle, then I go break even. Which I am now. Need at least a closure underneath it. Playing the liquidity grab for the potential of us remaining as an SNDR, and we're going to run these lows and then London. The potential of need to get through these mid-50s. Right, there's still potential of trading higher, and this is just inducement perhaps. I'm going to take it off here. I do think we trade lower, but I'm in major defense mode as how today has been. Right, I do think we take this low and then this one, and I'm out too soon. But given that we're in a range, a little bit quicker to take profits. Again, the idea is failing above. If we fail to create CSD, this traded up and then through. So I hit it on that there. And the idea is that we range here, creating an SNDR for a purpose of running that low and then reversal. So probably could have held a little bit longer and made back pretty much everything today, but instead, here we are. No, and I think, looking back on it, kind of flubbing the short here, I think the idea was sound. The flip, maybe I should have held on to this a little bit, but I didn't like how the 5 was dealing with up there. You can't really see that on this. The 15 at the time, this closed bullish too, even though it closed at inside candle. Not a lot that I liked. This I thought was a valid idea inside of a 15-minute zone, and then there was intention after this broke. Even though it swept and failed the 15-minute time frame, I got really held up in this movement. I should put more weight on that. Here we are. But anyways, yeah, happy with that. I think I'll end still red, still slightly red. But, yeah. Let's give away an account here. Make sure you guys have typed something in the chat. And you got to be here as well. I only see 2 likes on the stream. What do you guys think I'm working for free? Really? Like for transparency. Not every day is going to be green. I can't refresh. Okay. 38 likes. Okay, I appreciate you guys. Good. Your success, if there's one thing that I've learned over my trading career, it's that your success is a function of resilience. Period. Winning traders, successful traders, all of them, all have a lot of setbacks, but we view failure very, very differently. Very, very differently. Okay. Nasty business that. Took London. No flip. You got to have an intermediate time frame flip here, which would be ideally closing above this in the 5. I think it's very, very good that we inverted here, but given the personality of the day, I'm inclined to not trust those right now. If this ends up sweeping and failing here, then you might have a risky long. You've got equal lows here at 32.5. All right. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. See if she wants to ping everyone. I don't even know if I have my phone. Okay. Yeah. This is this structural? I think we're not structural even still, right? The only reason we're looking at this as an SNDR, which I'm looking at the purpose of accumulating, manipulating, and then if we break, trade back in and go, right? So strong movement, but given that we're in a higher time frame major sell program from all-time highs, we could very well be looking at the midpoint of this movement itself, which is all the way down here, and likely looking at respecting this into here. So this could be the beginnings of that. We've now flipped on the hourly, assuming we close underneath here in 9 minutes, or sorry, 6 minutes. Okay. Let's get all this stuff exported. Two accounts today. Hold up one sec. Let me make sure that, 'cause I don't have my phone. One sec. Oh my goodness. Where'd the chart go? What's going on? Look at that nonsense. We're getting a bit of our rally now. Gross. So far. Well, we've taken Asia, or sorry, we've taken London. We've left Asia, at least so far. Still inside of this chop, but I'm inclined to think that any retracements will then get short for, you'd likely have some sort of a noon curve where you get your movement back up, whether that trades up only to here in that 15-minute inversion area, and then you get your noon curve short that takes Asia and the low of day. That would be sort of my expectation of any sort of rally up another 40, 50 points. Very tight range after this drop. So we'll see. But make sure you guys have typed something. Let's get this stuff exported. Let's get this stuff exported. But man, oh man. Went long, got crushed. The best trade of the day, I think, was the, or not the best trade, but the trade where worked out well for us was the SNDR theory to take London lows. At the very, very end of the trend, shorting. Missed all of it. Didn't like this, didn't really like that, and it all would have worked out quite nicely. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, man. OPEX weeks. Chop, 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 chop. Death. Rally. Chop, 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 chop. Death. Rally. All right. All right. Who's ready to win some marbles? Who's ready to win some marbles? Get that over there. Get that over there. All right, make sure you guys are in here. Quick little scroll through. You guys should be, get out of here, Botrix. Get out of here, Botrix. If you guys have typed, you should be in here. Get out of here, Stream Elements. You guys that show up at 11 o'clock, man. I actually see a lot of people that it missed for some reason. Let's try this again. Wild. Sorry, guys. One sec. Usually it's pretty on. Okay. Botrex, get out of here. And where was that other one? Stream Elements, there you go. All right. That should be everybody. If you're late, you're late. You guys should all be on the list if you were typing. Why is it leaving people off today? What is wrong with this? Yeah, it's kind of uploading, right? So some of these are from before, and that's why we also do that you've got to be here to claim. So that people don't jump in at 7 o'clock, say hi, and then peace, thank you. No. Right? The whole thing is that ETF are kind enough to give away these giveaways for us. And I'm seeing a whole, yeah, there we go. All right, good. Okay, we're going to do one and then I'll export again. Because this is taking forever. And if you guys literally just joined, like, get here earlier. Quite simple. How many are we at? 116. The dojo. Good luck. Good luck. And then we'll do another one. So make sure you're typing something in here. Some of them are bots. Some of them are from this morning. People have left. Right? But if they're not here, guess what we do, lads? What do? We run it back. Right? We run it back. Good luck. Good luck. Here we go. Who's got the first place curse? Who's got the first place curse? Woo. Transparent bowl, there he is. Is today the day, finally. Look at me taking the inside. There I go. Oh, wow. These guys are away to the races. Miracle with the first place curse. There goes Lane, Zach. Sorry, lads. Nilam and Sapphilite. Wow, he snuck through. He's way through. Nilam, is he here? That's the question. He's well overshot. Who sneaks? Oh, he did get it. Okay, he did make it. He did make it. Followed closely by Hamza. The final stretch. Lion Monk a close third. Good lad. Riedel, good lad. I haven't seen you in a while. How'd this guy sneak in here, Rangati? Somebody get launched? Well, it could be Rito. Derek Damore. Oh, did that help? Or is he going to make it? Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Rangati, are you here? Hey, congrats, man. All right. Let's go is right. Rangati Devi. Better late than never, eh, Matt? I think you. I think I died. At least you survived. There goes Omar. Can Ray Phillips, last week's winner. Good lad. Rangati, good luck or congratulations. We've been posting a lot of psychology. I'm going to also put some chart studies up this week. There'll be a couple of them. If you guys do end up winning, message me on school. Easy peasy. Message me there. It's free to join. Okay. We're going to run it back. We got 2 to give away. 2 to give away. What do we got? What do we got? What was that one where it was kind of like you never really know if it was long shot, I think. That was fun. Let's do that one. Let's get Botrix out of there. And let's get Stream Elements out of there. Where is it? There you are. And get that out of there. And we'll go with... And then... Hypnotists Anonymous. Hypnotist Salon Anonymous. 123. Who's been hypnotized in the chat? Anybody? Who's been hypnotized before? And I mean actually hypnotized. $123. Long shot. Let's go. If you haven't been actually hypnotized and you find it in trading, excuse me, that you know exactly what to do and yet you cannot seem to do it, hypnotism and NLP is your way out. Just saying. Let's go. Man bear. The only valid comment. Good lad. All right. How are people dying? What's going on here, lads? Praise, where you going, bro? What the hell? That massive thing. Sheba Sharon. Let's go. This is one of those races where even if you're first, It has to do with where you land at the end. Where am I? There's Idris. There's me. Right behind me, Iggy Pop. Following me is not a good idea, my bro. Not a good idea. Here we go. Our first guy's getting launched. Dinesh and John. No, Dinesh. You were too young. There's Marionette. Oh, I think that's way too short. First place so far, but I think that's going to be way too small. Oh, what? Okay, we got a new one. Oh, Paul! Paul Lenz. Oh, that was so close. Man Bear N1. We got anybody else lifting? There's Rangati again, who's already won one, unfortunately. Miracle. Nope. Nope. So far, it's Paul. Where are you, Paul? I know you're here. MW. Too short. Oh, Botman. How did he sneak in there? Where is he? I think that's our last. Who's last right now? I bet that's all our jumpers. Sneaking in is right. My goodness. The Botman. All right. Congrats. Congrats. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream here. Walking with the Red Day, and yeah, we'll run it back tomorrow. I think we'll have a little bit of chop this week, and we'll see how it goes. But higher time frame sell pressure today. Hopefully you guys stayed a little bit safe at least, and at least made your bag not doing all of the above. It is what it is. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some more giveaways. Make sure you're here early this time. Bye.